Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Starladder SEA Tiebreakers. This will be the final day of SEA play, or I swear I will kill someone. We're down to 3 teams right now. By the time today ends, we'll only have 1 remaining. That team will go to Kiev. They'll compete at the LAN finals. We begin the day with Johnny's Revenge versus IAP, or some of you know them, XXCTN. And the other team, not in this game, but that will be playing out today, those tiebreakers, is Titan, of course. I'm LD of Beyond the Summit. I'm joined here by Gods. And Gods, before I let you speak, I just want to let everyone know real quickly that there was a new Dota 2 patch while many of you were sleeping or possibly having your coffee. They have once again nerfed the crap out of the gold and experience changes to the point that I think in some cases it's actually possible to get less bounty from kills than what you did in 6.81. So I'm not 100% on that, but that's what some people have been saying. I have not had a chance to run the numbers myself. Suffice it to say that the bounties are drastically reduced for ending streaks, for turning the game around from a deficit, than what they once were when 6.82 came out. It's officially a new patch now, 6.82b, and well, with that said, Gods, we'll see how this new patch plays out. I'm not even going to pretend that I know exactly how the math works. I think anyone who does, unless they've got a calculator, is full of it. But we'll find out soon enough, I suppose.
I woke up 15 minutes ago and was like, ooh, new patch. I began the lobby, get ready for Starladder. I like skimmed over the changes and saw it was all golden XP stuff, and it just went all right over my head. Like, I'm a kind of math guy too, but I was just like, this is not... All you need to know basically is it's been nerfed a lot, so... yeah, looking forward to see how it affects some of the picks and changes here. I think teams will see that and be much more confident they can just kind of go with what's worked for them in the past. Even some more 6.81-esque drafts may come back.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if Iceprog will even look at the results of that and say, you know what, this is actually too nerfed. You know, I want to have some comebacks in Dota 2, and then we'll go right back the other way. But I guess that remains to be seen exactly how things will shake out. For now, it does look like, I think, good way to put it, like you said, 6.81-esque. For the Southeast Asian scene, this does mean things are a little bit different than other regions. I think most notably, we look at this Meepo ban here, something that wouldn't really happen against any other team, or in any other region, I should say, outside of maybe with Cloud9, but Sing Sing is long gone, and, well, they don't really seem to run the hero much anymore.
Yeah, very targeted ban at JR. This is an interesting match because these two teams played the final group stage match at the end of yesterday, and all IAP had to do to get to Kiev was win that match. Unfortunately, it was a close game, but Johnny's Revenge walked away with it. So they're going to be out for revenge here. They're going to be upset that they lost that game. And the problem is now they're in a situation where they have to beat Johnny's Revenge as well as Titan to get to Kiev. So it's a much harder road having lost to Johnny's Revenge at the end of yesterday. And Titan as well as Johnny's Revenge will just be happy to have a shot at going to Kiev. So a lot of money at stake, over $250,000 now at Starladder Season 10, so big deal for some of these SEA teams, even if you don't finish high in the LAN finals.
Yeah, and not to mention, it's just, I think a lot of it comes down to just pure prestige. Like, you get to be the one team from not just China or one country, but an entire region that even has a shot to represent. So it's the first Starladder with SEA teams. I guess some would count Korea as at least like East Asian representation, but it was only one country, and you know, a lot of these players don't necessarily share a close affinity to it. So it's a big deal for them from a pride perspective, obviously, like you said, also from a money point of view. And, well, God, sometimes in big games, you just got to turn to cheese, and it looks like we might be seeing a little Drow Visage from Johnny's Revenge. I haven't seen them run this. I saw them run a little Tiny Wisp. Is it something they do often, or kind of a one-off?
I think it's more of a one-off. I think it's not something that's too hard to execute, I think. Like, even if it's not like a go-to strategy like it is for Cloud9, I think a team who, even if they're doing it and they haven't fully practiced it, can still pull it off just because it does have fairly straightforward ease of execution with just when you're pushing down towers using familiars, just using the Drow, or it just requires a little bit of communication, which is pretty straightforward for most of these teams. So IAP may have their work cut out for them. I've seen teams like pick the Drow when they see that Visage, or pick the Visage when they see the Drow, and I think that's sometimes a bit of a trap if the hero doesn't fit too well in your draft, and IAP will still do that though, so they do need potentially a safe lane carry with Viper mid and Doom going to the off lane.
Yeah, they at least have a ranged carry to complement this Drow and the Viper, so it's not a total like, oh, we're block picking you, but it doesn't fit at all. Yeah. That said, it doesn't feel really like an ideal element for the draft, mainly because None of the cores of any team fight to speak of. Outside of Doom, I suppose, but that assumes he dooms the key targets in the fights. And, well, sometimes block picking isn't always the best idea. I guess we'll find out soon enough if it works for IAP. They do have fairly flexible lanes here. Two pretty strong... well, mainly the Viper is a strong laning carry. Drow, who can be decent if she's got two good range supports for harassment, is ultimately a very long-ranged auto-attacker at the very least. And your Doom, who can go off lane, can go mid. The Viper can pretty much fit in anywhere. So IAP still with their options here. And the most standard way would just be to run this Doom off lane, Viper mid, and Drow in the safe lane, and some sort of dual or tri-lane.
I think the biggest problem right now with the Drow pick is all like the strong supports have been taken out. They'd love to have, I think, a Jakira with it. Gives you a lot of pushing power, which you can benefit with the Drow from since you don't have the Visage. So not having the kind of strong range supports really left in the pool. Rubik also got banned out. Does make it a little harder to run the Drow. There is still options there. I mean, you're kind of Vengeful Spirit's still a good one. You get some more auras, but I think having like a pushing one like a Jakira would have fit really well with this IAP lineup. And that's where I think Drow needs those strong supports to help protect her. Which may not be as readily available this game.
Yeah, she doesn't have like an Earthshaker type hero right now, maybe a Sand King. Those are still out there, and I'm wondering if that's something IAP will consider. But there's also Enigma, who has good synergy with the Aura and gives you a bunch of push. It just feels a bit greedy when you've already got a Doom and a Drow. They'll go for Avenge, so they do get a stronger laning support. The defensive swap can be nice, but we've seen this a lot now. The new Puck Aghanim Scepter, I've seen it every Puck game. Now, granted, this was from China, not an SEA. Not sure if other regions will pick it up, but swap ain't gonna save you against that. You Dream Coil, you get swapped out. It's a ridiculously long stun that goes through BKB. So we'll see how much this swap actually helps keep the Drow Ranger alive.
I can't wait to see like teams using like really strong positioning spells with the Dream Coil, be it like a Keeper of the Light, Blinding Light, just Force Staffs, things to make that stun proc, because a 4.25 second stun at level 3 is with an Acceptor is ridiculous. 4.5 actually. So that's like a max duration arrow practically, and
it could be on an entire team.
Yeah. And I don't look at it and think, oh, that's going to be really broken, because it's going to require, you've got to find the Ags, you've got to draft around it. Like picking Keeper Light, not exactly a strong hero necessarily, so it is hard to pull off maybe. But I think just with some Force Staffs, you could maybe try and at least have it proc on 1 or 2 heroes.
Oh yeah, Force Staff definitely works. I saw that yesterday quite a few times.
Okay.
Even if they're not, like, they just have to be, like, if they're, like, right in the middle, I think it might be just short, but if they're, like, anywhere away from the exact middle of the Dream Coil, they will break the leash, more or less. So, Force Staff works for 1 if they're facing their own direction. Of course, if they're facing across the other side, then it's not enough, but if they're facing outwards, I should say.
Yeah.
There's also things like Vacuum, where in theory you can just break like 4 Dream Coils at once. Now, again, execution can be a little bit troublesome, but they'll go for a Dazzle here. So, Execration, very, very strong laning supports now in the Venge, the Dazzle, some good defensive capabilities here. But I do look at their mid game and just say, God, these guys got 0 team fight. They've got Doom, and that's it.
Yeah, and they don't really benefit much from the weave this game. There's just pure burst damage coming out from Johnny's Revenge with Puck Initiation, Skywrath Mage, Ravage, Earthshaker with just a Fissure. So as far as a lot of Dazzle's tools go this game, I don't feel it's as strong as other games where we've seen Dazzle maybe picked up in tandem kind of with blocking a lot of physical damage, or used as a big kind of... It is a big minus armor strat with the Venge and the Dazzle, so they can amplify their own damage, but they're so, like you say, they're so squishy. All they've got for the team fights is Doom. So even if they're doing a lot of right-click damage, they're just going to melt so fast without BKBs against Johnny's Revenge's lineup.
Yeah, Earthshaker was the choice for Johnny's Revenge, so they go back for even more team fight. And this puts someone into a core role here, Gods. Who is it going to be? Skywrath Mage. Oh, Sharky Earthshaker. Okay. So is this a core shaker? Is that what we're looking at? Or Johnny or Johnny's been playing support, right?
Yes. So we may be seeing
solo mid shaker.
Some bizarre, setup coming out of Johnny's Revenge. That's for sure.
Is this like the Korok style shaker? I'm not sure how it fares in this patch. I haven't really seen it since 6.81, but yeah. I guess the other option is you can run him off lane, maybe put the Tide mid, but I mean there's a Viper waiting mid lane probably, and nobody's going to have fun against him, whether it's Tide, whether it's Earthshaker. something's going to be different this game, gods, as far as the roles go. That's for sure.
Yeah, always fun to see those farming Earthshakers, but whether that's going to be the case here or not, we'll find out. But yeah, I think, I mean, obviously the team fight for Johnny's Revenge is just insane right now. IAP need to have a good laning stage. They've got one good ganking support in the Venge. Dazzle doesn't offer too much, but often you'll see like a team just have their one zoning support, like a Dazzle who just sits in the bottom lane, stacks, pulls, zones out the off lane, and then the other hero like a Venge can either dual, like go into the off lane in the dual lane, roam around ganking mid. Can be a lot more flexible with where she moves.
And with that, guys, we will have a quick pause here. I know it's the hated word, but
yeah,
it does happen every so often.
I wonder if they even offensive tri-lane. Like, Earthshaker, Visage, Skywrath, Mage. Does put, like, you could put the Tide 1v1 against the Doom, and then the Puck goes mid against the Viper, and I think those lanes are pretty decent and favorable for Johnny's Revenge.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you probably still give the Viper an edge mid, but Puck at least shouldn't die if she plays it correctly. Pretty easy to phase shift dodge that Viper Strike, and even just the general harassment of poison attacks. Still have to worry about Nether Tox and Outlast hitting you, but with the double rune spawns now, I mean, Viper's not... At most, he's going for one rune. He's certainly not going for both, and it may even be Puck can get one and the teammates get the other to kind of make up for any getting outlaned factor. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think those will be good lanes for them. Obviously, Dire offlane is a bit better now, and they have a fissure block, so they can get the creeps near the tower. They have a good offensive tri-lane. That all said, Visage does need his levels, and... The other thing is, there is still no pull for the Dire offlane. Yeah, the creeps spawn come close to the tower, but they don't really have like the extra experience to work with, so they'll have to get aggressive here and try and force the issue.
Yeah, I think they'd have to make sure they block the pull, maybe even go for like the double Observer Ward plus Sentry Ward block, because you don't want your opponents just pulling, denying you XP if you're in a tri-lane versus tri-lane.
It's a farmy Visage. He's picked up Arena Protection, gods.
Okay, so we'll see fast Bassy from Johnny. With that in mind, I think definitely we're looking at an offensive tri-lane here.
All right. Well, this is something I have not seen in a very long time. I can't even recall the last time I have, but let's get into it. On the side of IAP, or Execration, the lone Pinoy hope here. In the tiebreakers, you've got Fox handling the Drow Ranger. Emma Stone will be playing the Venge. Chemo on the Dazzle. Some familiar faces. Bison will be handling the Viper, and that puts Iwi onto the Doom. So some familiar faces that have coalesced and done really well, honestly. They had a shot the other day at just punching their own ticket, controlling their own destiny, and going to the LAN finals. They fell short there, but they'll have one more crack at it today. And on the side of Johnny's Revenge, well, who better than Johnny to be playing the Visage? Winter on the Skywrath Mage. That puts Sharky onto the Earthshaker. Chibix will be handling the Puck, and that leaves Ling as the Tidehunter.
Okay, so right off the bat, they do get the pull block with the Sentry Ward in there, which is pretty important for them. And I think if they are in a tri-lane versus tri-lane, it looks like IAP are actually going to dodge. The supports from IAP are kind of stuck on the lane protecting the Drow Ranger, which means JR will get complete rune control. But it looks like JR maybe scout out the fact that this offensive tri-lane's being dodged because Visage is headed back up top. So maybe reading what IAP are up to here.
Yeah, that's... Also, at that point, they've dropped the Sentry Ward to block the camp, but Iwi doesn't care about that. He cares about this camp. And the big camp has not been blocked off, so unless we see a manual body block, he can head over there. He'll maybe miss a creep or two, but still well worth it to get an Armor Aura, the HP regen Aura, something along those lines.
Yeah. He'd love an Alpha Wolf. The medium camp Alpha Wolf, I think, is... So I remember Envy talking about it. It's like, if you get an Alpha Wolf, you win your lane. If you get something else... He was against a Void as a Doom, but like it's very dependent on what creep you get sometimes as to how well this 1v1 matchup for Doom goes.
Yeah, against Tidehunter... Okay, so they have swapped their lanes on the side of Johnny's Revenge as well. So against the Tide, I mean, even with Alpha Wolf, you're still getting Psycho Smash, so... I guess you have better chance of last hitting, but... It won't be easy for him regardless, and in the end, they're going to run a dual lane bottom wall. Winter and Sharky will make their way towards mid. So this leaves the Puck farming the mid lane, and the Visage will be farming the safe lane. And I think IAP are seeing this and figuring there've got to be more supports there, but they're actually not there. They're looking for the mid lane. If Bison walks down that ramp, he's going to get fissure block. Winter comes around the other way. The trap is sprung, and the auto attacks come out, but Chibix is dropping low to the Viper strikes and will end up going down first. Oh, what a fail gank from Johnny's Revenge. Oh, the Puck took phase shift at level 1, and it was cooling down, and... Oh my, that is just horrendous for them.
Yeah, they just got blindsided by the fact they could get that perfect fissure block off, but Chippix was so low on HP. Oh man, that's a disaster as far as mid lane's concerned. That
Like,
gives
they
Jay
could have
so
just
much
backed.
insight.
That's the saddest part. Like, they could have said, okay,
Yeah.
we can't get this kill. Let's wait for when he hits level 3 or 4. But they tried to force it and completely backfired, man. Oh, my. In good news, the puck is CSing well. 7 and 2. Which just makes it even more frustrating that they went for it. For them, I imagine. They're like, I was winning my lane against Viper. You know? I was doing fine. But
Yeah.
not so much anymore.
Winter and Emma Stone going to battle it out at this top rune here, and both of them taking a bit of damage to start things off.
Yeah, there's still a magic missile available. That Wave of Terror can come out, and he got a double damage rune. Oh, Winter. Gotta be careful. Wave of Terror, not enough. But nearly finished off. Meanwhile, Ling trying to fence it out with Kiba on the bottom lane. He'll go for a bit of a D-ward here, and or he'll D-ward the D-ward, I should say. Because he already has the sentry up, so wasted gold for Chemo. Hasn't skilled anything yet. He can go for Shallow Grave, but he's going to want to wait until the last possible second for this. There are 2 more auto attacks required, I believe, with this Tango being used, and oh, just 1 more Anchor Smash. Chemo, 1 more auto attack. Pushing it to the limit. Good plays. He'll end up surviving. Sharky still diving, has a fissure. He threw it at the exact right moment. What a play by Sharky. Turns it around. Fissure was thrown before Shallow Grave ended and it arrived as it finished. Really nicely done.
Yeah, that was some good awareness and good timing from the Earthshaker there. So Johnny's Revenge kind of bounced back a little, getting the kill there at bottom lane, and Dro's been under quite a bit of pressure here. He's farming alright here, but as far as the CS goes, Johnny's Revenge have the top 3 farmers across the board, and Doom has finally gone top lane. The problem with IAP's lanes was that they initially wanted to send Doom safe lane, the tri-lane top to dodge, but then once they figured out what Johnny's Revenge were going to do, they had to waste a lot of time just moving around the map, not getting farm in some of these lanes, and just kind of missing a decent chunk of XP here and there. So they're still kind of in recovery mode, it feels like.
Yeah, recovery mode is a good way to put it. They do have a farming Visage, and I'm still interested to see how this turns out. He's at 17 CS already, God, so... while I'm talking about that, Chibbix gets killed off mid.
Chibbix is having a rough time. That's 2 big mistakes from him. Even though the first blood was maybe partly his team's call to go in, he could still say, hey, look, I'm going to die, this isn't going to work, so... Chibbix, solo mid players, not having one of his better games right now.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough boots yet. Let's see what's coming on. Just the bottle for him. And this is despite that good early CS. Now he's falling behind in that regard as well. Emma Stone will find it in Viscerin, dropping the sentry. They've spotted him out as he runs into the pit, but this should be out of range of the sentry. Problem is, he can't really leave anytime soon, but is it really worth trying to hold him in there? They're like, we could commit to keep him in this pit, but we're also spending multiple heroes to do this. And he's got like a full 30 seconds to go or so before we can actually go on him.
He sees him with the Observe Ward, so he knows roughly when it's safe to leave as well. And looks like with just an Earthshaker there.
Oh, there's a Viper Strike. Oh no, he baited it out. Oh god. He baited it out. Bison ends up getting the kill. No, it doesn't finish Chibbix. He had his Viper Strike. He'd already baited out Phase Shift. He saves it for Winter instead. He may end up getting the Winter kill anyway. He will. No deny. They're tri-laning this friggin' Viper mid, and he's still coming out on top. Well, this time at least Chibbix getting a little golden experience his way.
Yeah, Bimbo's doing really well in the mid lane on this Viper, so it feels like they're just putting so many resources to try and shut down a Viper, but at the end of the day, it's just a Viper. I think Dro, like in the safe lane, is the hero who is kind of being too ignored right now. Even in off-lane Doom, like he gets his Midas up. He's the hero who's going to end up with more farm than this Viper. So it does feel like they're putting too many resources into shutting down a hero who doesn't necessarily need shutting down.
Here we're taking harassment top lane. They have a soul assumption. Would have been enough to kill him, I think, if he'd been able to get it off, but I'm not sure the range was there at nighttime. Would have been close anyway. Oh, I didn't realize that was Bimbo, by the way. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, my bad. I realized it like at the end of yesterday's game, and I was like, oh, okay. That as their mid player, he's been doing really well. So,
damn it, Jay! Like, can't you just stick with a name, man?
He's used so many different names over the years.
I've just in the time I've cast him, which isn't even nearly as long as you. I feel like he's used like 30 names.
Yeah.
Oh my. Well, he's delivering now. That's for sure. So up to 3K net worth, still your leader in that regard, and everything looking pretty good here, I would say, for IAP gods. Like, I was a little bit worried about their laning stage, to be honest. Just because, like, they have the Drow, Doom, and Viper. Nobody really goes around and controls the map until maybe Doom hits level 6 and gets a smoke, but Considering that, their cores are top 3 out of 4, and they lead by 1,500 net worth, 500 gold. Still, Johnny's Revenge has that great team fight, but we'll have to see how much it matters.
Yeah, Familiars are kind of moving around the map. Visage, who actually got his level 6, has now left the top lane and moved mid. So I think deciding they want to get Win to his level 6, kind of spread the wealth. You don't really want to, especially a farming Visage, you don't want to just treat this as your one position carry, because that's not what this hero is going to do. So you get the early level 6 top, then you give the lane to someone like Skyrek to get some Arcane Boots up to get his level 6, and unless you can try and push a tier 1 tower, because Johnny's back top and maybe looking for a kill or a tier 1 tower push, but that's not going to be easy to do against a Doom.
And they have Familiars, but already you see Bimbo with his Buckler out, working towards the mech. Like, he's got a lot of ways to deal with the physical damage, and maybe with the +1. With this Earthshaker Fissure as well, they can probably get this kill, but it still comes down to if they get the Familiar stunts on top of. That's just the level of tankiness that Bimbo's already bringing to the table with the max 4 corrosive skin now. Yeah.
When he gets mech, it's they're not killing him unless they bring 3+ heroes, and they'd have to invest ultimates, Dream Coil, something like a Mystic Flare. Like they'd need the Familiars. They'd need so much to kill him once he gets this mech, and it's not even really worth it necessarily. You're better off trying to gank this Drow, who's a much easier kill, a lot squishier, even with a shallow grave potentially protecting him. This Drow has got a Midas, so going for a greedy-S build, but I think given how much free farm Fox has had down here, it's perfectly reasonable to do so.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't. I mean, you're running a Drow, you have 4 ranged heroes end of the day. Yeah, no Familiars, but still levels on Drow are essential, and kind of the hero is scaled around it, and yeah, you're being pressured, so or you will be pressured in the mid-game, I should say, so you're not being pressured now, but makes sense. And with that, we'll begin to see heroes like Viper, who hit a little bit hard early, starts to really rack up the damage. Still not seeing the point of the farmy Visage. He'll get Doom now. He gets Magic Missile top lane. The Familiars are coming in, but stunned as well by Iwi, even with those power treads. He's probably going down here. Tries to deny himself with the Familiars. Fails in doing so, although it was a good effort. And now, the haste rune wears off an Emma Stone. There won't be a follow-up kill. But yeah, guys.
That was a cool gank. He picked up the haste rune and then just TP'd to the T2 tower top, because they can't just Doom Visage and get the kill, but because Emma Stone has a haste, they can. So that was a really clever gank.
The farming Visage just hasn't really accomplished anything for this team. It's behind all 3 cores in terms of net worth. They'll get the kill on the support Drow, or not Drow, Vengeful Spirit.
I'd love the Doom.
Yeah, they'd like the Doom, but Sharky will need to body block him for a lot longer. It seems like he might actually pull it off. Sharky with the great moves, blocking him left, right, all over the place. Fissure cooling down, but he doesn't have mana for it. This gets the Familiar stuns in range. Iwi may end up going down to this. They have a Ravage. They really don't want to blow it. Now they will, as a Viper Strike connects on lane. The mech was used, not enough to save him, but enough to get some extra auto attacks off. Still, they may lose Bimbo as well. They will, and lane survives, but the creeps are just pinning him in, finishing him off. Viper will get credit for the kill, but it was really the creeps as MVPs there. It's a Ravage down, but hey, they finally get on the board with some big kills.
Yeah, Viper and Doom did take him all 5 heroes coming in for that one, but getting the core Doom and the core Viper, you are leaving a Drow to farm, but there's only so many cores you can shut down at once when it comes to Johnny's Revenge. So getting 2 kills there is a pretty important little tool for them as we go into the mid game, where they're meant to be stronger, but Doom having such a decently timed level 6 with drums up already, Viper already up onto his mech, they're kind of being out-farmed here. So even though they've got the better mid-game hero-wise, if they're getting out-farmed, out-itemized, it's not going to necessarily go better for them in the mid-game.
Yeah, let's see how that Visage gets involved from here. Now going back for a Sage's Mask, I guess Medallion will be the choice, and they are Dire side, though Sneaky Roche is not as easy with Familiars, and a couple of ranged heroes Tidehunter to tank, maybe they can do it. But it's not like they don't have the Drow. It's not going to be a super fast Roche by any means, so
we'll have to see if it pays off. They don't have the best physical damage, really, yeah.
I'm still questioning the core Visage. I mean, obviously it's easy to with the results, but they're looking for the jump in mid. Iwi, he's got Doom. He gets it off on Chibix as well, who's getting very close to his Bleak Dagger. 1600 gold out, Soul Assumption coming the other direction and trying to turn the Sharky. Stomped and brought down by Iwi. They can't even kill the Puck, but who cares? They'll get the kill regardless on another hero. While Doom casually will just devour a creep in front of this entire team of JR, outside of your Tidehunter, who can't join the fight. They know Doom's down, they're gonna, or Ravage is down, and they're gonna punish that by taking the tower mid. Get an Earthshaker kill, and forcing the puck off the lane. And no trade for Johnny's Revenge.
Yeah, IAP, the front line is just a bit too tanky. You've got Doom with Scorched Earth and Drums to make him nice and fast. You've got the Viper with the mech treads. So these heroes just sit at the front, and you've got Dazzle protecting them from behind with the Shadow Wave. So very hard to kind of counter-initiate, especially once one of your core teamfighters, the puck, gets doomed up. Even though puck survives, the Earthshaker kind of has to go in and just die to save the puck's life there. So IAP getting a tower, getting some more map control, and they're definitely the ones controlling the tempo of this game right now. It feels like JR really needs some kind of blink initiation. The puck, the Tide, neither yet with their blink, but puck is very, very close.
Yeah, puck is close, and we can run through the HP pools and just see how squishy these heroes are. Emma Stone, pretty damn squishy. Close to a solo kill for the puck. Definitely with the +1, that'll be a kill. Your Drow now up to 1100 health. Not that easy to bring down. Obviously, Jay is a beast with this mech already picked up. And Max Rank Corrosive Skin. And Chemo is pretty killable. So I would say 3 out of these 5 can be killed with the Blink Dagger with a +1. Some of them may be just solo by the puck with a rune or a perfect initiation. So it is a big item for a puck to get. Not a game where like pretty much everyone can live through that jump, but still, even with that, it feels like they're operating on a timer. They're at a pretty short timer at that. They're up against Devour. They're up against Drow Ranger with an early Midas. And once she gets a BKB, what does Johnny's Revenge actually have to deal with BKB? They have familiar right clicks. That's it.
Yeah, I think this timer is the BKBs. Drow BKB, and I think Viper goes BKB over the Aghanim Scepter. At least gets the BKB first, because you're against Tide and Puck and Skywrath Mage. I mean, everything is magic burst damage. This is a perfect BKB game.
They're going to try to sprint a trap here on Bimbo, and he will get caught under the tower. Mystic Flare ready, not using it yet. Winter prepping with the silence, still not throwing it out. They'll swap in the Tidehunter. They swapped him into Doom. What a great play by this Pinoy squad. They'll bring down one. They chase for more. Johnny finished off as well. This will prompt a Tide buyback though, and he may find additional kills. Looking for a Ravage, but the Fissure's there to cancel the TP. So they end up getting 2 in the end. A 2 for 2 with a buyback coming out on the Tidehunter. And Ravage has been reserved for the push. But
it was a 5v4, so I think IAP not going to be too worried about that. Like they're going to have to let this tier 1 tower go at top lane, but for them, like they're going to get so much stronger with their BKBs. It's all about kind of stalling. So trading 2 for 2, the Tide buyback, which is going to slow down the Blink Dagger, probably is a decent trade for them.
That was a great combination. Like they already had Doom targeted as the swap happened. Kind of reminiscent of what we've seen the swap into Hex from teams like Cloud9, but it really shuts down the JR team fight. Meanwhile, mid lane, Fox TPing out in the face of Johnny, and nothing he can really do about that. Didn't do that much damage to the tower, but as Ravage comes through top lane, connects on Chemo, kills off Emma Stone, and well, does manage to hit that Viper, but tower not brought down, and that's a buyback Tidehunter Ravage. Whether or not he dies again, like, I almost consider it a dieback, just because he's not doing much, guys, for the next 3-4 minutes anyway. So
he bought back to Ravage and kill a Vengeful Spirit and not even secure the tower. And I think that's the big thing there. Now with Ravage on cooldown, they not only protected their tower, but they're going to push down, at least make an attempt on this top tier one. So Venge has already respawned. You lost your like 4 or 5 position support. At this point, you've got kind of 2 hard support. So it doesn't really matter your support going down, and you get a tower. So it's essentially a Venge for a tower, even though the two events are somewhat separate. But IAP are just getting better trades, even though it maybe doesn't look like it immediately.
Yeah, now they've got a medallion on Johnny, but I'm still wondering if they actually get to take the Roche. And you're up against Wave of Terror as well. So there's at least one good way to scout this. There's tanks and Viper and Doom who can charge into that pit. And if Johnny's Revenge can't sneak a Roche soon, I'm not sure that they have a plan beyond that.
They're actually going to go for the tier 2 now as well. This is...
It really goes back to that Visage. They picked the Visage up, and then immediately IAP respond with the Drow. And they're just like, well, we're not sure what to do now. And I guess Winter just decided that they didn't really want to have a Visage and Skywrath Mage support. They wanted more lockdown, but it's not really panning out for them.
Yeah, the core Visage has definitely been one of the weak links of this draft. I think they're banking so much on getting that tri-lane versus tri-lane. It reminds me of the Na'Vi Alliance game from TI3 where they went for the offensive tri-lane with the Vengeful Spirit, and they just found no kills. They didn't achieve anything with it, and it's kind of similar story with this game where you go for this really high killing power tri-lane, and your strategy is entirely around crushing your opponent's farmer. But IAP just managed to dodge the tri-lane. They were willing to waste time switching up their lanes just to make sure Visage didn't get any kills in the early game, and it's really paid off.
Yeah, Johnny's Revenge just pretty much gave up on... Oh, they're going to go for a Fissure now bottom lane, but Iwi's already retreated out. They kind of gave up on the idea really easily, guys. Like, they never really rotated to try and make it happen. They're just like, okay, I guess that you're dodging our tri-lane, so we're just going to run our Visage farming top lane, we'll put Tidehunter off lane, and that's that. We're not going to try and chase you around the map. They didn't even make an effort from that point, and... Well, now we're at the point where Viper dominated his mid lane. Bimbo completely crushing Chibiks in lane. Definitely a lane where you expect Viper to have the edge, but to see him kill Chibiks against a 3-hero gank at level 1, that I did not expect. And then to make matters worse, like, he gave up a solo kill after that, before Viper even had Viper Strike. So they lost their mid lane from there. The farming Visage hasn't accomplished much, and, well, now they're under the gun. And you could tell Johnny's Revenge knows the desperate, dire straits that they're in. How appropriate, since they're on the dire side. They're smoked and they're heading towards mid.
The Doom Blink is so powerful, because if they figure out where JR are and get a Blink Doom on Ling or the Puck, it's going to win a team fight.
Oh, that positioning so strong. Blinking from Iwi, he dooms Ling immediately. This means Tidehunter out of the picture while the rest of the fight will happen. Skywrath Mage using the ultimate to kill off the Doom, though, but he's already dropped his payload, so not the biggest deal if he goes down. As Chemo, coiled up, may drop to a Soul Assumption. He will fall, but now the Drow with BKB, there's no answer for it. Ravage far too late. Almost a helpless Ravage from Ling. They'll manage to kill a Fox here. Maybe they get Emma Stone as well, but they're still feeding kills to the Viper. Chibiks will go down. Ultra kill for Bimbo, farming up the familiars as well. It's basically a rampage for him. The 2 familiar kills, I would say, equal to a hero kill at this stage, and they lose 3, but what is it? Actually 4 with the Doom.
5 for 4, yeah, a 5 for 4 trade. Absolute bloodbath there. In the end, like, the ultimates from JR landed, but they weren't used together. Like, Sharky got a really nice Echo Slam off, immediately dies, but because Tide was ravaged, by the time he ravages, the fight's mostly lost. It was still probably an okay ravage because it got his team 2 more kills, but Bimbo just, he's the one cleaning up. He now has a BKB and point booster. He's suddenly got 1500 HP, and that's on Agi Tread, so you couldn't really kill him that fight. I don't know how you're going to kill him the next fight.
Yeah, and he's going to be around, like, close to 1700 when he switches these to Strength, and that's the point where you just have to get the jump if you're Johnny's Revenge. Your Tidehunter has to be able to blink it, insta-ravage, and catch heroes before they pop BKBs. It's risky, but I just don't know how they win otherwise, these fights. Maybe if they just catch heroes totally out of position. But with IAP looking to take down this tower mid, which will end up dropping, goes the way of Fox, they are now getting into position, gods, where they can just try to sneak a rush. They have Drow, they have the Midas Armor from the Venge, and if they want, Iwi could look for an Alpha Wolf in the jungle. Currently, there is no Alpha Wolf.
They got a Medallion, too. Venge has just got one coming out in the courier, so...
Yeah, they've got eyes on Roche. They're going to deward this, and can JR even contest? No Ravage right now. To me, they seem much more reliant on their big team fight ult than IAP do on their Doom.
This Roche just drops way too fast.
They'll try, though. Double Familiar Stun. They'll throw out a concussive shot that will hit Emma Stone as he heads to the left into a Mystic Flare, just securing his team's Roshan. Gets graved by Chemo at the final hour. The level 4 Shallow Grave comes out. They'll lose 1, though, for this. The Tidehunter ends up dropping, and Dagon was deployed, but not enough to kill off the Doom in turn. So a 1 for 0 exchange with an Aegis now going the way of Execration. And they're closing in, gods. It's not just that they're leading, but it's the kind of matchup they're leading with. And especially with those comeback mechanic changes, where in general it's going to be much less severe than in even the revised 6.82. Johnny's Revenge probably have to win 2 or 3 fights to even get back even, and that's with the worst late game lineup.
Yeah, fighting into this. Doom's going to probably work on a BKB of his own. Once you have triple BKBs off, unless they're kind of slow to use them or you catch them by surprise with that Blink Ravage, IAP just should not lose a team fight ever. Bimbo's almost completed his Aghanim Scepter, and they've taken every tower bar 1 on the outside of the Dire base, which is probably going to be falling fairly soon if they want to make a go at it, but it's JR pushing mid. This is, I feel like, a desperation move almost, if they're actually going to go for this.
They're about to get this Ags on Bimbo. He gets caught up by a Fissure, Iwi will, and now Zap, but graved again! These graves from Chemo literally winning them the game. If there was any hope that JR would turn it. They'll now get a kill on the Visage. That's a core Visage down, and the Chibiks getting chased out. He'll be doomed, but we'll pick up a haste turn, which actually went straight into his bottle when he right-clicked it, so doesn't get to activate it, unfortunately. I think he'll still end up surviving here. Not sure. Echo Slam was thrown out as well. Sharky trying to cover the path of retreat, will end up going down for that, while lane retreats the other direction, and then a swap back in. This will prompt the counter initiation from Chibix, kills off that pesky Venge in turn. That was kind of funny for the puck. I'm pretty sure Chibix wanted to use that thing right away, but just went straight into the bottle.
Yeah. I guess it's okay because JR forced up the BKBs, but end of the day, they don't win the fight. So even though these BKBs are getting shorter, I don't think shorter BKBs is going to be the end of IAP in a late game scenario. It's definitely going to make it a little trickier for them, but they're so far ahead. Over 10k net worth ahead now that even having 6-7 second BKBs in a late game fight is not going to be a make or break kind of position.
And they've got Ags now on the Viper, so he can constantly be spamming this ultimate. Lane is in position, though. Might get a big grab here. They have to know that this Viper is backup. And for now, he drops low, but the Grave again comes in from Chemo, buying Bimbo a bit of time, but they manage to focus down the Dazzle from here. Still, they hold the Ravage. It's dropped right now. Connects on two. Not on Fox, though, who's BKB'd. Not on Viper, who doesn't have Aegis. Can the two cores do it alone? Winter will melt. And now Bimbo turns for more. This Viper's fat. He's strong. He's out of control. Wicked sick. 4 dead. And the rest just retreating out now. Emma Stone will survive. Medallions and tries to kill a familiar. They have no answer for the Viper gods. I think it's pretty clear at this point.
Yeah, Puck's doing his best to try to snipe heroes here and there. They did a good job of forcing out the Grave, and then as soon as Grave was forced out, Visage is like, okay, I found the Dazzle, he's dead. He hasn't got Grave up to save himself, but even so, he got the key Grave off to save a teammate, and even if he dies after that, it's still job well done for him, so... IAP will take the last out of tower. They've used the Aegis during that fight as well, but they can fall back, farm the next couple items if they want. They've got 4k gold on Dro Ranger. They're just leaps and miles ahead of JR right now.
For those just joining us and wondering, what is the format for the Tiebreakers? Well, guys, it's very simple. Be a one round robin with 3 teams, which means a maximum of 3 games. If one team wins both of their games, then they just go through. I'm actually not sure what the second game is, but... If there's a 1-1 tie, meaning if all teams have a 1-1 record after the 3 games, then I believe we're just going to have 2 more to finish it off. So that would mean that the team with the best, I think it's time rating, will be in the quote-unquote finals. The other 2 teams will play, and then the winner of that plays the team that had the best time rating from these first 3 tiebreak games, and that will decide who goes to Kia. But hold that thought, because Iwi's been caught out top lane. Gush tanks a Mystic Flare, and they'll get a clean pick here on the Doom. Something that's evaded them for most of this game, but at long last just finding a clean solo kill on a core, and well, your Doom does go down. May need to go for a BKB of his own as this game goes on.
Yeah, I think that's going to be kind of the what can JR do anymore once Doom gets a BKB, because so much of these fights is who jumps who. If Doom gets the jump on the tide, Doom's in, then the fight's be won by IAP. The only times it's looked okay for JR is when they've got maybe a pick-off on the Doom to start off a fight, which, well, suddenly becomes kind of tricky to do once he has that BKB up. So I think look towards him picking that one up. It's still quite a long ways off. Didn't go for the Midas, so isn't farming all that fast. And IAP, though, at the same time, this Dro has picked up a Crystallis, has home the Dominator, almost level 16.
Like imagine when she gets Satanic Daedalus. Even with losing that Agi, if the enemy team is close to her, which, to be fair, JR have good heroes for. Oh no! Chibix, he got caught out by a Blink Stomp! Didn't even need to use the Doom to initiate, couldn't phase shift in time. Just not quick enough. To be fair, it's not a huge windup, but didn't even have a chance. Ends up giving up the kill. This is going to be the push through mid. The line has already been drawn. It's going to be Emma Stone calling the shots here right now as Execration may look for that first lane of racks. They rotate towards bottom. But Johnny will retreat out in time. Perhaps they just want to backstab these familiars, which cannot be respawn. Still trying to snipe into the base. They've got a swap. It's a level 2 swap. Johnny's been caught out. Will end up going down as well. That's your mech carrier. He just bought it. It doesn't have a buyback now. Familiars managed to survive, barely, by the skin of their teeth. One of them nearly dead. They'll lose that as well. 5-hero Fisher.
Both.
Oh no.
Nothing's going the way of Johnny's revenge right now.
The only revenge is for Execration here, who get revenge for that play-in match that they fell short into the Tiny Wisp yesterday, but now on the verge of taking this game. They'll push through the bottom lane. They'll look for their first lane of racks. If JR don't win a massive team fight now, it's basically GG any minute. They'll take that lane of racks uncontested. Suddenly a Reaver up on your Viper, who's basically got a Heart of Tarask. He's almost got the Vitality booster. If they want to go back and farm something like that, they certainly can. And for now, it's the recipe for the Daedalus for the Drow. It's about that time, gods.
Yeah.
Oh, they do actually
Doom,
kill the Doom mid lane. Not sure what he was doing there.
A bit sloppy from Doom. Like, his team back off. He's still just trying to pressure mid and get his farm on, but sloppy play, but they're not in a position where that's going to hurt them too much, I don't feel. He's actually going for an Ag Scepter. I don't think this is the right choice, but again, they're far enough ahead that I don't think going for an Ags over BKB is going to hurt them that much.
Hey, actually with Doom no longer disabling passives, do you know if that means that it does not disable Kraken Shell? Because it used to be that you could Kraken Shell off Doom a while ago, like 4 or 5 years ago.
I think you'll still have Kraken Shell, but it won't actually Kraken Shell off the Doom is how it'll work. So in the past, if you got Doom, you don't get the damage reduction from Kraken Shell from taking damage, but now you get it. But I'm pretty, like, I would be almost certain that you can't actually get rid of the Doom.
Okay. Well,
I feel like he's been getting doomed in a lot of fights, and it's never actually, the Kraken's never procced on it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it did, then that would be a pretty decent argument in favor of getting it. Just to ensure, like, you doom the Doom you doom the Tide and you could just focus him down instead of having to ignore him and hope you win the fight before Ravage comes out. But it seems like if the fights go long, then Execration just win them anyway. So it may not matter in this particular game, but definitely something I'll try to test in the test client, or in a test lobby during a break if we have a chance. Either way, Execration, they've got their big items up now. The Heart, almost ready. If they want to wait for that, they certainly can, but the recipe's been picked up. And I think once you get this recipe, gods, why don't you just go down mid again? Like, I'm not sure I see any reason for them not to do it.
Yeah, maybe wait for the next Roshan. I think that's, like, the more safe, stable way to play it out, but they're definitely in a position where the Brack's up where they can win any team fight against Johnny's Revenge, and even if it's like a somewhat even trade, it's still going to be Johnny's Revenge having to commit so many resources to even getting a close to even trade. But the safe, sure way, wait for Roshan, grab the Aegis, go all down mid, and go from there. They'll have the Harder Trash. They may even have the Satanic on the Drow Ranger. Drow just about 1,500 gold away from that Satanic.
Yeah, that's the point where not only do you have BKBs, but you may have a second life as well. After the Fissure, the Ravage, the Familiar Stuns, some may be dodged by BKB, the others can potentially be dealt with by the Satanic for the Drow. So, yeah, getting close to that with 2,900 gold, and your Viper, he strolled back into the pit, picked up his magic stick again. Very efficient play here from Bimbo. I cast 2 games in the past 3 days, man, where players just left Reign of Aquilas at the side shop.
It's so hard because with Roshan, you can't sell items from the Rosh pit anymore.
Yeah.
That's one of the annoying things about the change.
Swap, top lane, onto Johnny, and he's dead. Yeah, it is annoying, but it was like, his team was pinging it for like 4 minutes before he finally went and sold it. So you could tell they were like, come on, man, this is $400 gold's value right here. You gotta spend it.
In some of the games I've played, I've seen like drums of endurance like dropped at the Rosh pit to like pick up Aegis and stuff. I'll just casually walk past the Rosh pit after it's been taken. I'm like, what are this drums doing here? Like that's like a good chunk of gold, 800-900 gold if you sell it. But I guess you're under the gun and you just got to pick it up sometimes.
Yeah, that's certainly fair. Sharky looking for the backstab here. He's just playing around the tree line, and he always says, "Stop that! Just stop! You're doomed. You're out of the fight now." The chase is on. Right as Lane will pop his Ghost Scepter and try and live through this aggression, but Bimbo's diving him to the tier 4s. He'll end up going down. The Puck of Chibik's found a trade, but it really doesn't matter. They just can't kill the Drow. They can't kill the Viper. GG, well played to the call. Johnny's Revenge now have to rest their hopes on Titan managing to beat Execration, or it will be Execration making the first ever Pinoy appearance at the Starladder Land Finals.
Yeah, that's quite a position to be in. They were in it yesterday as well. They would have loved for the easier route, but now they've got to go through Titan. But the way Execration or IAP have been playing, like to me, they're up there. Like these 3 teams are probably the best 3 teams in Southeast Asia right now, with some of the teams like Miracle's First Departure or Insidious Idol a little bit behind it. These 3, I think, the clear top 3 in SEA, and well, they've had some very back and forth games, and I didn't think Titan are by any means unbeatable.
Well, on that note, guys, that wraps up our first match. The next will actually be Execration versus Titan. That was the original schedule. So, if Execration win this, it's all over. Titan, Johnny's Revenge, the pride of Malaysia, will go home. And, well, for Execration, if they lose that, then they'll just hope that Johnny's Revenge beats Titan, or it will be Titan who moves on to the Land Finals in Kiev. But for the answers to those questions and more, we'll just have to take a break. That next match, Execration versus Titan, coming your way in 20 minutes. I'm LD. He's Gods. We'll be back soon. You're watching Starladder Southeast Asia. Stay with us.